Hey there, everybody. How's it going? So, balding is something that happens to a lot of guys. Actually, happens to a majority of guys by the age of 35, I believe is what the actual number is. And full disclosure, growing up, it was always something that I really didn't want to look forward to, right? I had, on my dad's side, a lot of them went bald. On my mom's side, some of them went bald. I didn't really know exactly how it worked. And I wasn't super aware of all the medication and all the stuff that we have out about it. And there's a lot of really, really crappy drugs and products that are being promoted about the issue of hair loss, specifically male hair loss, right? And it wasn't until actually a few years ago that I ran across a YouTube account by the name of Hair Cafe. And I'll link the guy's YouTube channel down below. It's phenomenal. It's really funny, kind of satirical, but it's actually really good information about hair loss. And to sum it up, male pattern baldness is also known as androgenic alopecia. And essentially what ends up happening when someone has androgenic alopecia is testosterone is converted into this thing called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. This is a hormone that when you're young and you're, a young lad growing up on the mean streets of the Carolinas, what it'll do is it will help you in sexual development, right? It will help you with your organs. It will help you with puberty. It will help you with maturity, all that stuff. And it's really good when you're young. However, when you're old, it actually has a lot of negative ramifications, right? And one of the big ones is that DHT causes male pattern baldness. And we've actually known this for decades now. So the mechanism by which testosterone gets transformed into DHT is by these things called AR5 receptors, right? It takes the testosterone, transforms it right into the DHT, which causes a lot of issues past puberty. So you're probably thinking, okay, this is a lot of scientific talk, just get to the point. So here's the point, right? We have known this for decades, and we actually have had the cure to this for decades as well, too. And it's called finasteride, and there's another drug called dutasteride, but that's sort of another video for later. Anyways, finasteride has been shown to be effective in over 90% of guys who actually take the drug, right? And in over 90% of the guys who take it for longer than 10 years, it's also shown to regrow hair at the same time, right? So this drug is safe, it's effective, it's been on the market, it's been studied for decades and decades and decades. It initially came out in the 90s. It was for a few other medical reasons that I'm not really going to get into. But what they ended up finding was that guys weren't losing their hair afterwards. And it's stopping those AR5 receptors from converting testosterone into DHT, right? So why am I bringing up all this? Well, it's because when it comes to hair loss, or it comes to a lot of these things, there's a lot of misinformation about there. When the reality of the situation is that we've actually had hair loss drugs that have been proven to be effective in the vast majority of men for decades now, right? We've known about this stuff for decades, and the information is out there. We have the statistics and the studies to back it up, but most people just don't know about it, or they do and they're just afraid of the side effects, right? And there are some side effects that go on with drugs like finasteride and dutasteride, which is actually a more potent version of finasteride. And full disclosure, I'm actually on dutasteride. But with that being said, some of those side effects include things such as, a low libido, or maybe just feeling a little bit sluggish. However, these aren't anything to worry about, because for one thing, these only happen in about 2 to 3% of men. The other thing is that, people don't have long-term ramifications even if they do get these side effects, right? There's something called post-finasteride syndrome, which people have been trying to prove for decades, and there's never been any good research on it. And it's basically saying that finasteride and AR5 inhibitors absolutely ruin people's lives. It's all bogus. A lot of it, there's just nothing to it, just to kind of make a long story short. But anywho, with that being said, yeah, if you're scared about hair loss, the earlier you start, the better it is. This isn't some sort of sponsored video or anything, but it's just something that I was kind of worried about for a while. And even going back to 2011, 2010, I'll probably throw some photos up here real quick. I just had a really crappy hairline, still do to this day, and I just didn't want to lose any ground, right? Didn't want to do anything. And so you're scared of going bald, or you're scared of losing all your luscious locks, such as I would be, just hop on the stuff, talk to your doctor about it, and see how it works. If you guys are interested in this topic at all, or you don't really care, feel free to let me know in the comments below. And yeah, have a good day.